Good morning to you, Gifty and Apia.
Good morning.
How was your time at Agbogloshi yesterday morning?
It was quite tiring, but I felt tired after. It was very engaging, and I think it's a very worrying situation. I mean, if you get there, there's a tension that's almost tangible.
It's as fluid as we all witnesses outside the place.
Yes, I mean, when you see the people and you see how angry they look, and you see the angry exchanges that are ongoing, and then you see the security personnel, the presence of the security personnel, and how they themselves look tense, do you realize that, like I'm saying, it's almost tangible, like you could feel the tension in there. But it's good that we're doing something about it.
Yes, and we'll be going there this morning as well. So we hope that at least the peace that we all seek will prevail at the place.
Definitely.
All right.
It will. Well, let's turn our attention to the newspapers this morning. We'll be looking at the online portals as well. Let me start with the Daily Graphic. The Daily Graphic comes with a picture of Otun Fossey to the second, and of course the son of he's Kwejo Safo Jr., so he's the son of Mr. Safo, Safo Kantanka.
Apostle
Safo
Bishop,
Kantanka.
Doctor.
And the story is patronized Kantanka vehicles Sante Hene charges government. So that story is on page 16. Relocate Sodom and Gomorrah residents. That's coming from the IGP from yesterday's press conference that he held, and use Easter to promote harmony in society. That's according to the clergy. And justify your inclusion. That's President Akufo-Addo telling his deputy ministers. That story is on page 32 and page 49. And they were sworn in yesterday at the Flagstaff House. Another story here. CJ assigns 14 courts to deal with Galamsey cases. And that it comes with a picture of Mrs. Justice Theodora Georgina Wood, Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. That story is on page 3. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, it says CRI, that's the Crop Research Institute, releases 4 new yam varieties. I mean, I don't know exactly what it's about, and I hope it's not has nothing to do with the GMO that we've been talking about. But that story is on the back page. There you see pictures of the yam as well. And let's quickly look at the center spread. What's in the center spread? ASEP weighs into fight against Galamsey. Comes with a picture of Ben Boache. And network platform for local businesses launched. Burkina Faso's rules disrupt transit trade by 17%. And AAMI endorses new national alcohol policy. That will be very interesting. The Association of Alcohol Manufacturers and Importers has declared its support for the national alcohol policy launched recently by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the World Health Organization. I'm interested to know what exactly the national alcohol policy says. But Roland, let's move on with some other newspapers.
We have the Ghanaian Times. On the front page, we have trouble for illegal miners. The Chief Justice apparently has set up a Galamsey court.
Right. And
we know courts grant bail to 13 Delta Force members. The story on page 3. But you have there an information to us. Stop Galamsey 6 more days. And we know that that's the day we're supposed to be wearing red, I think. Government's ultimatum to illegal miners and media coalition against Galamsey continuing with the advocacy. President forms team in record time. Don't link Agbogloshi violence to politics. IGP cautions. But we also have on the back page, international agric experts confer in Accra, and the FDA confiscates aphrodisiac and wholesome drugs, among others. You know, I mean, these are sold indiscriminately on the open markets. It's a huge problem for many people, especially those who are into pharmaceuticals and who are into standard, etc.
All right, let's turn our attention to the Daily Statesman. The Daily Statesman it has a picture of the swearing in of the deputy ministers by President Akufo-Addo. Comes with a picture of Professor Very Reverend, is it Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, and he's talking about Easter and how we should use Easter to chart new paths. Now, justify your appointments at the store. That's the big the banner headline. Justify your appointment, President tells deputy ministers. And I caused NDC defeat, Mahama admits at last. Comes to the picture of President John Mahama. It's in relation to yesterday, and the anticipation of the Kwesi Bochwe reports that's yet to be made known to people. The back page is all about football. Bob Bradley, ex-Swansea City boss, angry with club's American owners, and renovation works on a Crossport Stadium to start in June. So that will be it for the Daily Statesman. You can get yourself a copy. Yeah, that's how the back page looks like.
All right, so we have the Daily Guide. It has on the front page, why NDC lost 2016, Mahama speaks. 50 deputy ministers take office. And then we have the Daily Guide saying that they'll be back on Tuesday, April 18, 2017. And that you should stay safe. Just giving you some greetings or appellations for the holiday. 16 Delta Force members granted bail and 5 arrested over Agbogbloshie bloody clash.
Well, the weekend today is what I have. The weekend today comes with a picture of a woman, I don't know, but it's talking about shoes and how to match your shoes with your clothes. I'm sure it will make an interesting read. But the fresh clashes erupt at Agbogbloshie. That's the weekend today reporting. Easter break today will be off the newsstands. Of course, that's the weekend today announcing that they'll be off and return after Easter. But the banner headline is Akpeteshi Flat Market. And I remember my colleague here, Abla D'Souza, once did a story about Akpeteshi and what they go through to put it together. And you know, Roland, people have said that if only we could adopt, you know, the Akpeteshi production and add some value to it, it will become one of the, the schnapps. It could be the schnapps.
As we have for vodka
and the schnapps, etc., that we import, actually. So anyway, the Akpeteshi is flooding the markets, we understand. It will definitely not be in the refined way that all of those ones
Akpeteshi, I know, tastes really good too.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. When was the last time you tasted it?
It's been a while.
Okay, thank God it's been a while. Really First Lady Tasga, Queen Mother. So that story we saw yesterday on our online platform. And then the story goes on and on and on. That is the weekend today. Roland?
Okay. So we have on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, JM on NDC and 2020 election. One must have a fit horse for a race. True? True.
So it's basically referring to building the party before you start thinking of who will lead the party as the conversation
already, you know, there's
going.
been press conferences and media exchanges among the groupings within the party, and it's a huge problem for those who want to contest on the ticket of the NDC come 2020. Can't believe it. We just ended an election, I think 4 months ago. We're already thinking about another one.
Oh, of course, because it's just,
it's about preparation.
Yes,
so.
It's not. It's 3.5 years.
And especially when you're in opposition, it's 2 years into the term of the current administration that you have to get yourself ready.
And you do have a lot of time on your hand, by the way, so you can do all of these things. So
that's
it's time for you to build up your party, basically. So if people will heed to the call that the president is making, the former president is making, it's going to help them.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
It will, definitely. Jerry Rawlings on international politics, that's on page 2. But let's get on to the JDM or Mahama story. It's a former president, John Mahama, says he's ready to give his full backing to whoever emerges a flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress as they await the 2020 elections. According to Mahama, he is a committed member of the Umbrella family and will offer his support to the party's future leader. And he's quoted here, if you ride a lame horse into a race and you lose the race, your priority must be to cure the lameness of the horse and not about who will ride the horse again. I think he's talking about himself. You have to cure the horse and make sure it's no longer lame. And once you have a fit, healthy horse, it will throw up who the jockey should be. And so, absolutely, I believe that the issue of leadership is based on the dynamics of the time. If we do our work well, we do good branch reorganization, bring it to the constituency level, to the regional level, and have a strong, healthy party. The dynamics of the time will determine who should lead the party.
Right. And that was a central message yesterday when we had a special edition of the Pulse at the NDC headquarters where they had a press conference right after their press conference. So they're looking to start, I think they said 29th of April, they're looking to start the reorganization, which they say they're starting from the branches,
Wow.
the various regions. So yeah,
We wish them well.
of course, the NDC on a road to reorganization. Well, you could expect a lot of business stories from the Find the newspaper. That's what I've got right now. Pension funds, 545 million cedis paid. Outstanding 2 billion cedis to be released by end of 2017. That's very interesting. Yesterday, one of the people I spoke to at the NDC headquarters was Sampi Ali, who used to manage the
National Pension Authority.
Exactly. So that story says that the National Pension Regulatory Authority has so far released a total of, well, it's a long amount there. But it's basically about the 545 million in locked up pension funds in the temporary pension fund accounts. It sounds like a good idea, a good story for lots of people on pension. So on the back page, no, it's an advert. Let's check what's in the center spread. The center spread, it's also an advert. So yeah, we move on. But GCB Bank appoints new board chair. That story was in the review yesterday online. New banking regulations to promote the sector. Transparency, integrity is dear to us. That's according to the new Bank of Ghana boss, Dr. Ernest Addison. Okay.
We have the next paper. I believe the last paper.
Is it? Okay. Right.
The BNFT, the Business and Financial Times, that's on the front page. Education Ministry moves to settle POTAG, that's the National Council for Tertiary Education on PASS, and the story is on page 3 of the paper. But new tax exemptions rule could breed corruption, and that's according to an expert. And it says the government moved to withdraw tax exemptions without parliamentary approval, with the promise of refund for investors who qualify for such refunds could serve as breeding ground for corruption. And that's by a tax expert, Abdullah Ali Nachia. You will create, he's been quoted, a bureaucratic system where somebody will be looking for kickbacks or incentives to grant you your refund, which is justly yours. And the managing partner at Ali Nachia and Associate told the BNFT in an interview during the annual tax seminar on the budget statement organized by the Pentecost University College Graduate School in Accra. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, people will still look for ways to cut corners if they're not, sure. if they're still. It's a matter of choice. It's an issue of integrity. People will still do it even if you create the.
You think it's a moral issue?
Of course.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's a business issue for many people too. They want to tax cut, dodge, evade taxes to make a lot more. But of course, it's illegal. I mean, that's the most important.
Because the taxes are what's used to build the country. But it's except that one of the major concerns of taxpayers is that they don't see, they don't feel like the taxes they pay are working for them. So you pay your taxes and you're still driving on bumpy roads and you're still driving on potholes, you know.
Potholed roads, and it's frustrating.
Exactly. And so you still pay your taxes and you still don't have water running through your taps. You pay your taxes and you don't have electricity. So then it makes people feel like we're paying for nothing.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Sure.
UBA Delight shareholders distribute 27.2 billion naira in dividends, and the story also is on the fourth page. But the back page, we have punish cable thieves severely, ESLA, and ESLA also is the communications minister. We have HFC Bank holds maiden staff Deba. Great.
All right, can we do the online review now?
Yes, we can.
We start with myjoyonline.com. Myjoyonline.com has the very first story about Asante Hene, who is endorsing Kantanka automobiles, and he says there is no need to import vehicles into Ghana when locally assembled Kantanka automobiles.
Have you had a feel of the Kantanka
are available?
vehicles?
No, I haven't, but I've been there before. We're going to do some stories about them. Have a very nice
assembling plant.
Yeah, and it's been a long time, so I don't know how it has transformed right now, but it looks like Otunfo is enjoying his ride there. And the next story will be advocacy for passage of social enterprise policy intensifies. And the Social Enterprise Ghana is calling on authorities to pay attention to a draft social enterprise policy meant to support the industry. And the third story, AGI concerned about competing with government on financial markets. The Association of Ghana Industries says the government's continued sourcing of funds from banks remain a disincentive to private sector growth, and especially you don't want that when you keep talking about public and private partnerships. So that's something that government could look on. Roland?
We have HFC emerges as the most telephone efficient bank. Okay, and apparently it is the most telephone efficient bank in Ghana. And we also have inflation for March drops to 12.8%, and the year-on-year inflation rate as measured by the Consumer Price Index as the CPI stood at 12.8% in March 2017, which is 0.4% or percentage points down from the previous.
A little bit of an improvement, but not good. It's still
not significant, we say, just marginal.
So pontificating NDC cannot be more Catholic than the Pope. That's coming from Samuel Uku, youth organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party. He's saying that whilst they are embarrassed by the unfortunate actions of pro-vigilante groups, they cannot take lessons from members of the opposition NDC. It's still the same chorus, isn't it? Akufo-Addo nursing domestic terrorists. That's by the NDC, from the NDC's press conference yesterday. And actually, that's not the picture of yesterday. It's an old picture that's used for that story. The National Democratic Congress is warning of real danger if violent attacks by NPP-linked vigilante groups are not brought to an end. And the final story on that, on myjoyonline.com will be Dagbon Regent condemns violence at Agbogbloship, and I think that's a good cause. So hopefully it doesn't, the rippling effects is not felt at in the northern region, as some of them were telling me yesterday. The top story at myjoyonline.com actually is that CSOs are not propagandist, abusive. So Dr. Jampo is hitting back at the NDC because the NDC is accusing civil society organizations of being silent, of their loud silence on what's happening in the country. And they're saying they are not propagandists, they are not abusive. So you can read the story on myjoyonline.com. Delta Force 2,400 fine is symbolic, theatrical. That's by Portofino, just like we told you in our news segment. Roland, City FM Online.
We have John Boydo, who is the acting general secretary of MPP, being quoted as saying MPP hasn't shouldered party miscreants like NDC. Relocating old Fadama residents will ensure stability, according to the IGP. Good call. Chief Justice designates 14 courts to deal with Galamsey. And NDC blasts clergy, CSO for being silent on post-election violence. Well, the truth is they've not been talking as much as they used to, but
well, I mean, you'd say that logically you'd give the new party some time. The extent of period that the NDC has spent in time in office,
you expect that it will have a grip on many of the things.
Exactly, it will take some time. I think that it will take some time for people to be able to.
So we have the Africa page of the BBC, Gifty.
Treason charges over Zambia convoy clash. The opposition leader is accused of endangering the president's life by obstructing his motorcade. That will make an interesting read.
Typical African story.
How road rage led to treason charge. That story is there on the BBC African page. Africa highlights Zuma not attached to being president. Nigeria oil corruption is fake news. Now people are calling, there are some people calling on President Jacob Zuma to step down, and I understand he was celebrating his birthday, and the people were marched, called on him to step down as president. Kidnapped sailors rescued in Somalia. Rwanda plot woman back in the UK.
Well, Jacob Zuma apparently saying that he will go if that is what the ANC members want. I think that is what everybody in Africa wants.
Really? South Africa for
I would love that. Sometimes you help change the landscape of South African politics.
So that'll be it for the newspaper review?
Yep. And if you want to get interactive, Facebook, Joy News on TV, and also we have a handle on Twitter, Joy News on TV.
Well, yesterday, I think the whole of this week, we've not really read people's messages. So today we'll try and do that.
As much as possible to do that. All right. Again, remember, and next we have to bring you sports.